The old Mercedes-Benz X-Class of 1995 isn't the kind of machine you simply describe. It's the kind you feel, the kind you remember, the kind you measure other drives against, even if you don't admit it out loud. Back then, cars weren't trying to outflash each other with oversized screens or whispering to you about lane keeping and sensors and digital assistance. They were metal, muscle, and meaning. Something you could smell in the garage before you even turned the key. Oil, leather, a touch of dust, and a quiet promise that this thing was built to last longer than most friendships. Now picture an early morning, the kind where the air is cold enough to make your breath visible. You're walking toward the 1995 X-Class, and the world is still waking up. There's no rush, no deadlines, no phone buzzing in your pocket. Just you and the machine. The door handle is cool in your palm, but it gives way easily, almost politely. Mercedes doors back then had a certain honesty to them. Heavy enough to feel safe, but smooth enough to never argue with you. You slide in and the seat greets you like an old leather armchair you've sat in 1,000 times. It doesn't try to hug you or squeeze you, it simply lets you be comfortable. Turn the key, not a button, not a gesture, a key, a proper one, the kind that twists with purpose. The engine gives that low, unmistakable rumble that only a well-built German V engine from the 90s could make. Not loud, not obnoxious, just confident, like a man who doesn't need to raise his voice to be heard. And you sit there for a second, letting the sound settle into your chest. Some engines talk, this one listens. Driving the 1995 X-Class isn't about speed, it's about presence. The moment you pull onto the road, you feel the weight of the car, the way you feel the weight of experience, with control, with steadiness. There's no jitter, no unnecessary twitch. The steering is firm and direct, telling you exactly what the tires are doing without begging for attention. Modern cars try to do everything for you. The old X-Class invites you to be part of the conversation. And the ride, smooth in the way only a Mercedes from that era could achieve. Those engineers weren't chasing trends, they were perfecting craft. The suspension floats over bumps with a kind of respectful elegance. Nothing bouncy, nothing sloppy, just stable. The cabin feels solid. The world outside just slightly softened, like you're gliding rather than rolling. Inside, the dashboard is simple, but not dull. The gauges have that warm backlight you can almost hear humming softly if you listen closely, the way electronics used to hum in the 90s. Buttons you can actually press, each one with a satisfying click. No touch screens, no digital menus hiding behind other menus. Everything you need is right there, physical and honest. And somehow it all still works, even after decades. That's the thing about the old X-Class. It was built during a time when Mercedes engineers still believed that a car should outlive the man who bought it. You might remember taking kids to school in a car like this, or heading out for a long drive just because the weather felt good. Maybe you remember that particular smell of the fabric or leather mixed with sunlight coming through the windshield. Maybe you remember how the radio sounded, slightly warm, slightly grainy, but real, the way voices sounded on AM stations during road trips. There's a nostalgia in the cabin of a 1995 model that you can't download, can't upgrade, can't replicate. And then there's the shape of the thing. Modern cars all seem to be trying to look angry or aerodynamic enough to slice through a hurricane. But the X-Class from '95 has a different charm. A boxier, sturdier, straighter design. Lines drawn with purpose, not marketing in mind. It looks like a vehicle from a time when style meant character, not attitude. Chrome that catches the sunlight without screaming. A grille that stands tall, proud, unmistakable. When you see it parked from across a lot, you know exactly what it is. No need for badges or LED light signatures to tell you. Take it on the highway and the story gets even better. The car settles into a rhythm, like it remembers this exact feeling from the day it rolled out of the factory. It doesn't rush, but it moves with conviction. You press the accelerator and the power arrives smoothly, not all at once like modern turbocharged engines. There's a patience to the way it gathers speed, a kind of mechanical dignity. It never strains, never shows off. It just does what you ask, the way a good and loyal companion should. Older men understand this better than most. You've lived long enough to know the difference between something that's simply shiny and something that's genuinely well made. You know that beauty isn't in bells and whistles, but in reliability, in the comfort of familiarity, in the subtle joy of something that was built properly from the start. The 1995 X-Class is a reminder that quality doesn't age, it just settles in. And maybe that's why driving this car feels like catching up with an old friend. You don't need to impress each other, you don't need to rush the conversation, you just enjoy the drive. The same way you enjoy sitting on a porch with someone who's known you long enough not to talk nonsense. The car doesn't pretend to be younger than it is, and neither do you. And that's the beauty of it. When you pull back into the driveway after a long ride, you don't immediately jump out. You sit for a moment, let the engine wind down, listen to the soft ticking of warm metal cooling. That sound is memory. That sound is craftsmanship. That sound is peace. And when you step out and close the door behind you, you feel that solid thunk, one of the most satisfying sounds in the automotive world. It's the sound of engineering done right, the sound of a time when things were made to last. You walk away slowly, maybe giving the car one last look over your shoulder. You can see yourself